Te Pāti Māori, The Huge Benefits of Colonisation. Brief summarised comments from the book. New Zealand, The Benefits of Colonisation by Adam Plover. Narrated by Geraint Thomas, Swansea, Wales, UK. A humanitarian colonisation. In the year 1840 New Zealand became a dependency of the British Crown, which brought with it many advantages, gladly welcomed by Māori. Today in 2024, Māori are ethnologically extinct. No full-blooded or half-blooded Māori exist. This particular type of race suicide was not caused by the colonizers, but by the preference of Māori to breed with Europeans, rather than with each other. Today, many Māori are visually pale-skinned people with only 1/8 or 1/16 Māori blood in them. Māori are in fact Europeans, with a minority of Māori blood in them. From 1840 to 2024 Māori went through an amazing transformation with major advancements in such a short period of time. This new way of life should give Māori cause for pride and all New Zealanders something to celebrate. Food. Early Europeans misjudged the age of Māori, as their toothless state made them appear much older than they were. Needless to say, colonization brought great dental care to New Zealand. As more and more Europeans arrived, they brought with them their cows and sheep, pigs and poultry, milk and cream, fruit trees and honeybees. Colonization introduced a much healthier and varied diet to Māori, who also learned how to grind and mill flour from grain. This new, and much healthier diet, which also included the meat of animals instead of people, has been of immeasurable value to Māori and their descendants, having improved their life expectancy from around 30 years of age to over 70 years of age today. Clothing. With the coming of European traders, Māori were able to purchase warm woolen clothing as well as a plethora of headwear and footwear, waterproof coats and jackets. Indeed, European clothing was most welcome amongst all Māori, who suffered greatly from arthritis caused by their poor pre-European light flax clothing. From so many angles, from articles of clothing to watches and sewing machines, colonization was a very big plus for Māori. In fact, wearing a pocket watch rather than a string of teeth from an eaten enemy, also gave Māori the ability to tell the time. Housing. Rather than huts built out of sticks and reeds, and floors covered with dry grass, the colonists introduced woolen carpets, furniture, wooden bungalows with windows and curtains, and the wonderful invention of electricity, which changed the lives of all Māori. Light at all times of the day and night, heating and cooling, refrigeration and cooking. No longer did Māori have to live in dark, smoky, unfinished huts, due to the wonderful housing improvements taught to them by the colonists. Transport. Before the Europeans arrived, Māori had to walk through the bush in their bare feet, breaking off twigs and branches with their hands as they went, so as to make or maintain tracks. These tracks were not fit for purpose when the colonizers arrived, so they went about building roads for pedestrians and horses, later widened to take bullocks and carts. They built bridges, tunnels and viaducts right across the country, turning New Zealand into a well-serviced nation. Māori embraced these changes, which brought them greater ease and comfort getting from place to place, with horses, carts, trains, passenger liners and motor cars. A far cry from picking their way through the bush with bare or knee feet. Colonization allowed Māori to travel all over the country without the fear of being killed and eaten on their journey. Hygiene. Pre-European Māori had a primitive, unhealthy system of hygiene and toilets in their villages, which were crawling with live rats and vermin. Houses and people were filthy. Washing their clothes never seemed to enter their heads. Today, Māori can wash their bodies with soap and their hair with shampoo, which is a substantial benefit of colonization. Health. Every aspect of Māori health improved after colonization, especially with the introduction of Western medicines and healthier diets, resulting in Māori life expectancy soaring from around 30 years of age in pre-European days, to over 70 years of age today. In essence, the colonists introduced much better health care all round, including dentistry and eye care. The co-leader of Te Pāti Māori, WhangareiTim, continually rants and raves against colonization and its effects, yet he benefits greatly from colonization at every possible turn, thus making himself an object of ridicule and hypocrisy. Slavery. Slavery was an integral part of Maori society prior to colonization. Male slaves taken from the losing side in a battle were expected to fight for the tribe that enslaved him. Slaves that had not been released by 1840, then the Treaty of Waitangi did the deed for them. Not only free in their movements, the slaves had a choice of employment and were free from the ever-present fear of being eaten by their captors. Colonization put an end to Maori slavery. Women? Maori women were burdened with all the heavy work. They had to cultivate the fields, carry wood and provisions, and bear heavy loads during their traveling excursions. Men would not degrade themselves by carrying provisions on their backs. Colonization rescued women from their degraded state, and so for the first time in the history of Māoridom, women attained the dignity and rights that were due to them as human beings. Children? The early days for Maori children could be perilous and painful. Noses were flattened, knee joints rubbed down, female children had the first joint of their thumb bent outwards, and earlobes pierced with a sharp-pointed stone for the sake of wearing ornaments. If there was mental damage that lasts down the generations, it was because of this brutalizing nature of Maori society towards children, conditions that were mercifully rescued by colonization. Infanticide. Before the introduction of English law in 1840, the life of a female Maori baby was not by any means secure. Infanticide was frequent, and in many cases as the result of jealousy. A male child was seldom sacrificed because of his future value as a warrior. Colonization ended the brutality of Maori society towards babies with the introduction of British law in 1840. Cannibalism. By far the most horrible aspect of traditional Maori life was cannibalism. It was a stain on humanity itself. Cannibalism, which is as degrading as humans can go, was a major driving force in pre-colonization Maori life, and was often the motive for warfare. Innocent Maori were rescued from cannibalism by the colonists, with the introduction of Christianity and British law. If colonization had imparted nothing but the ending of cannibalism, then that would be full justification for colonization alone. Property rights. Before 1840, any tribe could be deprived of whatever they had by a stronger tribe with better weapons who might attack them during the night. In the world of Maori, might was right, so ownership was decided solely by force of arms. It was largely because of pre-1840 insecurity of ownership, that certain smart and far-sighted chiefs came to realize that whatever they had would be better protected by British law, rather than the law of the jungle in which they were living. For the first time in their history, Maori had property rights over their tribal lands as a result of colonization. Conclusion. Against all the many and substantial positives of colonization, it is also necessary to mention any negatives, and these appear only to be tobacco and alcohol. In 2018, Sir Robert Jones, a political commentator, wrote in one of his columns that New Zealand should instead have a Maori Gratitude Day. A day in which Maori could reflect on their good fortune at having been colonized by such a humane, hard-working and prosperous people as the British. So why the hysterical outcry about colonization? Because it's all about money, or to be more precise, it's all about enriching the tribal elite of largely pale-skinned Europeans with only 1/8 or 1/16 Maori blood. So far, more than $3 billion have been taken from the New Zealand taxpayer and handed over to various tribes for alleged historical grievances. The Waitangi Tribunal accepts oral evidence of historical grievances which have been passed down by several generations with an incentive to twist it to suit the claim, much like Chinese whispers, while rejecting written eyewitness accounts at the time. In the words of Sir Apirana in his speech at Waitangi during the centenary celebrations of the treaty in 1940, that is the outstanding fact today, that, but for the seal of sovereignty handed over to Her Majesty and her descendants, I doubt there would be a free Maori race in New Zealand today. Thank you for listening. Geraint, on behalf of WhangareiTim.